Hey guys, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the 26th episode of The Money Show. And really quick, personal announcements. Please like this video. It helps the algorithm and it gets more people who like this type of content to come in and join the live show as well as the replay. So thank you guys so much in advance for liking this video. And before we go into table of contents, I wanted to ask you guys, since we are fresh off of a holiday, did you go Labor Day shopping? And that is because it ties into one of the topics. So before we get into the show, let's go over what we're going to talk about. The first one is value shopping is up, according to some recent Q2 reports of several retailers, popular retailers, large retailers. The next thing is going to be about the end of tax de minimis, which I did not know about, but it is a big thing apparently. And once I learned more about it, I understood why it is going to be a big thing. It's going to change a lot of shopping behaviors. And I don't know if that's good or bad for the economy. And the last thing I want to talk about is the fact that Walgreens is going private after being public for almost a century. I think it was 98 years. They're going private, and I want to talk about the consequences of that, good and bad. Try to find the good and bad in both things, you know? So the first question let's go back here. We're going to start talking about the first topic, which is that the deal is the product that retailers are realizing they need to sell. Not only do they need to sell items, do they need to sell things that are affordable, because nowadays things are expensive, but they also need to sell what is called the deal and making people think that they're getting a bargain. So that's why I asked, did you go labor shopping today? Because some people shop throughout the year and some people are more sales savvy. And I know personally, I did go Labor Day shopping. Hi, East Boogie. Hello. Also, welcome back. And then, truck or trial. So are we in a recession? They're not calling it a recession. So I can't say with, fact-based answers that it is a recession, Tra. I don't know yet. But as soon as it is announced, I will let you know. So back to selling savings. In 2025, bargains are being bragged about and not top dollar items. And the deal is a product for sale to consumers. Value retailers are proving this. And they're proving this saying that in their data that they found from the last quarter, which is Q2, that six-figure households were coming to them more, as well as middle-class people were coming to them more. And then normally when you think of value retailers like Dollar General and Burlington Coat Factory and the Dollar Tree, you think lower class. Those are the usual suspects. But they're finding that a lot of people are coming to them as opposed to in the past. So this is considered the updated version of couponing. Because it's not that consumers are broke. Consumers apparently are not broke. So truck or try, according to Yahoo Finance, they are found that people are not broke yet. So if people are not broke, I guess you can't consider it a recession. But they are only buying things that are on sale. They don't want to pay top dollar for anything. And I can resonate that, because let me tell you something. I've always been like that. I don't want to pay top dollar for anything unless it's truly a luxury item. And for me, luxury is Louis Vuitton or Gucci. I will probably pay top dollar for that. For everything else, I want to sale. An example of that is Labor Day discount. I saw things for as much as a 90% discount for like places I like to go. One of those was Banana Republic, J. Crew. They were offering 70% discounts. And then on top of that, they would do 20%. So that made it 90%, which is crazy. But the thing was, I didn't really want to buy it. I'm not in the mood to buy clothes at the moment. But I did break down and buy some running shoes because why not? It was on sale and there are things that I needed to buy anyway, which makes me think about what's going to happen Black Friday this year, because last Black Friday, the sales were basura. They were trash. They weren't Black Friday sales to me. They were only like 20% off. So I hope 90% discounts kind of carry over to Black Friday, because yeah, I didn't Black Friday that last year either, but I did buy something for Labor Day. Let me see something. I also wanted to show you guys as far as like how these companies were reporting things. And this is a makeshift diagram, so bear with me, but sometimes the software is hard to navigate. But Dollar Tree, Burlington, and Old Navy, they reported positive things, whether it was their same day sales, whether it was their net revenue, or something else positive. Dick's Sporting Goods and Foot Locker, they reported negative stuff, negative results. And then Kohl's and Best Buy, they were pretty much neutral. I will say that Best Buy and Kohl's mentioned that them being neutral might not be a good sign for them in the future, because there are things coming up Q3 and Q4 that they're going to have to deal with. And those things that are looming in the next few quarters are tariffs as well as inflation. Right now, inflation is like slightly higher, not a lot, but we'll see what happens in September when they report it. And tariffs are supposed to be coming in, I won't say full-fledged, but a little bit more. And on top of that, the next topic is really going to affect people's shopping, because if you thought people were not shopping before, when they change this, which they already have changed as of August 29th, people are not going to be shopping. And I'm going to give some examples. But the bottom line is that retailers must sell savings. They have to do the chasing of dopamine, because what this article found was people are excited about how much they can tell their friends that they saved on their sale, as opposed to what it has always been, where people are excited to brag about the nice things that they have. Now they want to brag about the nice things that they have, but how they got it on sale. If it's not on sale, they're not buying. And this is turning out to be a cultural and financial shift. And the thing that they're trying to say is, look how much I did not pay. As opposed to back in the day when you're keeping up the Joneses, you want to say, look how much I have because I was able to buy this. I don't know who we're keeping up with now, but it looks like we're keeping up with sales, which I am happy about. I think that's a good idea. So yeah, they have to sell products. And as we get into the next topic, this is going to affect some of those retailers we talked about before, like the regular brick and mortar, but we don't shop brick and mortar like we used to. What we shop is e-commerce, and the end of something called the tax de minimis is going to affect e-commerce really bad, according to New York Magazine. But there were a whole bunch of articles on this. The end of the tax de minimis ended on August 29, 2025, 3 days ago. And I didn't even know this existed, but I guess you'd know this if you were in manufacturing, retail, marketing, all that. But it started in the 1930s, and the limit was $200. And now, more recently, 2015, this is a typo, the limit was put up to $800. I don't know why it says $500. The old way was, and the old way ended 3 days ago, is that anything entering the U.S. That was under $800 was duty free if it was valued under that amount, or you would pay a fixed amount. Now, the senders must pay a reciprocal tariff rate. And when I say senders, that's anybody international. So if you're buying something from China, e-commerce, Europe, e-commerce, South America, the Caribbean, e-commerce, if it was under $800, it would be free. But now you have to pay the reciprocal tariff rate, or you have to pay a fixed amount of $800 to $200 on that parcel coming into America. That was a typo. That's actually supposed to go under the new section. And that ability to pay that fee is only for 6 months until countries are able to adjust their procedures with America's new rule. And unfortunately, the retailers thought they had 12 to 24 months to get this fixed, but it was done pretty much immediately. Now, who is this going to affect? Highly affect the apparel business, footwear business, and direct-to-consumer business. So I put the logos of Shein and Temu. I don't know if there's a lot of girlies who are in the live session, but that is where we love to get our stuff. It's super cheap. I had a phase for Shein. I think I bought one thing off of Temu, but that stuff is directly to the consumer from the person who makes it overseas. And also, if you have like an e-commerce shop, like if you sell lashes, if you sell wigs, if you sell what are those things called, press on nails, if I wanted to start that business, but say I live in Jamaica or Haiti or the Netherlands, I could start it and I could send it to my audience and not have to pay the taxes. So imagine me being a small business owner, e-commerce business owner, that is going to mess up my margin and possibly lose money, especially if I'm just starting out. And so that's going to be devastating. It's going to mess up e-commerce and decrease consumer purchasing power, because now Shein is not going to be able to sell shirts for $3. Temu is not going to be able to sell shirts for $3 either. And I also thought about LC shops, which are a lot of people who do independent stuff. Time for me to get back to moving. America, just I might say hi. Hi, and drive safe. Thank you for stopping by. We'll see you next time. Yeah, so this is going to be a big thing. I would not be surprised if it was put back to where it was back in the day 3 days ago, where people would do it, because this is going to crash something. I feel it's going to mess up. East Boogie also says be safe, Tra. I agree. It's going to mess up China. Sellers are going to pass this to consumers. Like I said, no more $3 shirts, no more lashes for cheap, no more wigs for cheap. And the foreign countries a lot of them have suspended their shipments to US temporarily until they figure out the logistics behind this. At least 20. I did not list 20, but I listed a few. I have Japan, United Kingdom, which I did not know wasn't just England. Apparently, United Kingdom is Southern Ireland, England, and Scotland. Who knew? So then we have Spain, Thailand, Germany, Austria, Singapore, Switzerland, Italy, and India have said, we're not sending anything to America. I haven't needed anything from them, but I can only imagine, what if like you get this one item for something that you make in your business in America? They're not sending it. They're like, we're going to figure this out. And America, y'all gonna have to figure this out because y'all did this. And now we have to figure out the logistics. I think that's going to be interesting. And I think that's going to affect people real bad in the next 6 months. And you got to think about it. Black Friday's coming up. Christmas is coming up. Hanukkah's coming up. I think Eid is right now in September. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff. I don't think that's going to be good. So yeah, keep looking out for that, guys. And then the last topic is that Walgreens has been privatized. I wanted to talk about this because I've had a theory, and this used to be my old life. I used to work in the pharmacy industry, and apparently they've been purchased by Sycamore Partners, which is private equity, and private equity buying this company. And mind you, this private equity company has no healthcare experience, and they bought it for $23.7 billion. Walgreens has been frailing for the last, I would say, almost 10 years. But back in the day when I was growing up, there was a Walgreens on every corner. But because their sales have been really bad, and their script counts have gone low, and their retail stuff, like everything in the furniture store, that is not doing well at all, because we shop differently now. Most people go to bigger boxer stores that also have pharmacies, or they shop online at Amazon or Walmart online. This consequence had them removed from the S&P 500. I was wondering why I was not seeing information on my watch list on Walgreens. Exactly. It's private now. And that's going to have consequences for all of us. The brands now, as a result, are going to be separate in Sycamore Partners, are separating it. So there's Walgreens, which is a pharmacy part, Boots Camp, which was the United Kingdom version of the pharmacy part, and pharmacy logistics. Shields Health Solutions, I'm not sure. CareCentrix, I'm not sure. And Village MD, which is their kind of clinic business inside. They're all going to be separate, but they're all owned by that. And they're going to be able to focus on that and hopefully grow. But the thing is, when private equity gets into business, they mess them up. Hello, Walgreens. Hello, not Hello, Walgreens. Hello, what's that place called? Red Lobster. Like a lot of times what they do is they acquire these companies, make these companies like renters, charge them all these fees, and the people can't keep, the original owners can't keep up with the interest on these loans that they have to pay back to their equity. And on top of that, they have to keep up with KPIs that are not realistic. But in the past, Walgreens grew by acquisitions. First, they acquired independently owned pharmacies because back in the day, pharmacies were owned by the independent pharmacists. And second, they acquired relative businesses. So they acquired Boots, which was like the United Kingdom version. They acquired like the pharmacy delivery businesses, Blase Swazi. Then they started adding healthcare inside as in the form of clinics. And it looked like they were doing well, but over decades they lost competitiveness because you have CVS, now you have Amazon, and it's hard to keep up with those things. You know what I'm saying? And as a result, though, the people who are left victimized are the people in the communities, because when Walgreens closes, the old mom and pop pharmacies aren't available either, because you, as an independent pharmacist, yeah, good luck trying to have your own, because you have CVS, you have what do you call it? Amazon. There's no way to compete with these juggernauts of companies. The only way that I could see them being able to compete if the government stepped in and realized we can't have pharmacy deserts. We can't have people who used to have so many options now because these big companies have failed, because ultimately that's what they failed to do. They got really big, really fast, and they didn't think about the people that they served. This is what's going to happen. They're going to be pharmacy deserts. The thing is, I don't see the government stepping in. So pharmacy deserts, unfortunately, are high probability. And the statistics say that pharmacy deserts are higher in lower income places, elderly populations, rural patient populations, and people of color populations. And it's unfortunate. I know my options for pharmacy, I can't even get them on the phone. I didn't go to Walgreens, and I never wanted to work for them. And I was able to say that I evaded my career working for Walgreens. So that's a win. I didn't want to go to CVS either, but now I have to deal with CVS per my insurance. Like, you don't even get to pick. And it's a mess. I don't even call them. I just go there because they never answer their phone. So imagine if you don't have Walgreens anymore, because they have shut down a significant amount of their stores the last 3 to 4 years, and they're going to shut down some more. So it's really sad. Take care of yourself. Keep your health up, because options for healthcare seems to be dwindling. And then the last thing is my gold watch. Gold is up the highest it's been, y'all. Check this out. $3,500. The highest it was before was in May. It was 34, and now it's 35. And I think I saw something. I'm going to check it out right now. Let me see. Gold prices up. They said the reason. And when I saw it earlier today, I was like, oh, I'm going to put it in my show, because I always do. Oh, no, now it's 3607. So it's gone up even more when I was doing the show earlier. It says, too late. What does the chart say? Gold prices hit a record high as economic uncertainty looms. Y'all, please like this video. Let's see. Gold prices hit record high as investors seek safe haven. Yeah. I don't know why people are feeling nervous, but they're not feeling as confident for the economy. So that could be a recession indicator. We're going to have a lot of, looks like, recession indicators that are unofficial. This is an unofficial recession indicator because gold is the highest it's ever been. I have 35.45, but right now at 8:49 p.m., it's actually 36.07, which is crazy. I'm missing out, but you can only afford what you can afford. So I'll try to get it next year, which next year is only 4 months away. Happy September 2nd, y'all. And then to wrap up, we're going to talk about, just really quick, what we talked about. Americans are becoming bargain shoppers in 2025. We don't have any more tax de minimis, which means we have less purchasing power if you're a big consumer like that. Walgreens future may be in trouble, and I wonder if that's going to trickle into others. I know a lot of these big pharmacies aren't making money from their pharmacy. I know that from looking at profit and loss forms from the pharmacies that I used to work for. I've worked for two. they weren't making money. CVS, I don't know if they're making money. Amazon, I would be surprised if they were making money, but the thing is, Amazon is such a big company, they don't have to make money from that, but that will probably help them bring more people in to buy the goods from Amazon. There was something I was thinking about and I just forgot. If it comes back to me, I'll say it. And then last, gold is still a commodity. It's not being traded at the moment, but it's really high. So if you're thinking about investing, food for thought. It's at the highest it's ever been. Does that mean it's the cheapest it's going to be from now on? So it's a good time to invest? Probably, because I don't know if it's going to go cheaper. And that's it, guys. We keep moving forward. Thank you so much. Yes, let me see. Gold has blown up, right? You think it's, could it, if it got to 4,000, let's go back real quick. If it got to 4,000 this year, but it started at 2,600, that's insane. Even if it got, oh, it's at 3,600. So let's see, 3,600 divided by 2,639. It's up 36%. That's amazing. Congrats to the people who were invested in gold January 1st of this year. Yep. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. We had a lot of people in the chat. We had a lot of Discord. I am very appreciative. I'll see you guys next week for the next money show, and take care. Thanks always for your support.